Well, as it is now, I believe the structure of government in our constitution indulges the states. The structure of government as it is now indulges the states. Now, if we look at our prevailing constitution, and I have argued again and again that in fact, our nation has no constitution properly so called, because it is not a government that gives a nation a constitution, as it happens in the case of Nigeria. Rather, it is a constitution that gives a nation a government. As you can see, in our case, it was the military that gave us a constitution, a government, instead of the people coming together, adopting a document they call their constitution that will create a government over them. Well, let us take it as it is now, what we have now, which is mere decree. If we look at that document, I think we have 68 items exclusively committed to the authority of the federal government. And then we have another 30, which the federal government shares with the states. So the responsibility of the states to the people is basically taken over, overwhelmed, overshadowed by the federal government. If you have a situation where mere roads going through my village is under the control of the government, or even the waterways, or animal husbandry, agriculture, even primary education to a large extent, obviously you make the state, you have given pretense to the state to be as if it is not government. And yet, the reality of the matter is that there are actually 3 governments. Federal government, and the word government is attached to each of them. Federal government, state government, government of the several states, and the third one, which I call the invisible government, and that is the local governments. If we have an appropriate structure, constitutional structure, as indeed we had when we started, for example, in the regional governments, you can see the effect. And one of the advantages that we have also is that the people are able to, in a sense, monitor the responsibility and the appetite of governments. Because when a government is smaller, it is much easier for the people to deal with it. What do you really do with a federal government that is everything, everywhere? So that's one of the problems we have. If we look at the recent demonstration, there was so much, but everybody was focusing on the federal government. What's the problem? There's hunger in the land. Is it the federal government that's going to produce food? The foods will have to be produced in the states. Like I said, the problem, the solution to hunger is food. And the way to get food is to farm. Who has the land for the purposes of producing food? The land is in the custody of the states. But if we see the entire agitation and the demonstration is against the federal government, as if it is the federal government. So there's a need, in my view, for this nation, the peoples, and I say peoples of Nigeria, as soon as possible, to come together, sit around the table in what I think is Leopold Senghor calls a universal banquet, and agree on the type of government structure that is fit and appropriate for the peoples of Nigeria. Like I have always said, Nigeria is a very unique nation. We are talking extremely unique in the sense that there is no nation that I know of, or at least few that I know of, where the various nationalities are committed to specific geographical location providentially. I mean, if you look at Nigeria, you have the Yorubas in the southwest, you have the Igbos in the southeast, you have the Jukuns, Thieves in the center, the Kanuris in the northeast, Fulani in the north. These were people that are divinely located. And I don't think it is a mistake. God didn't make a mistake. But if we now want to build a nation, what I call United Nations of Nigeria, what would be appropriate is to sit around and agree as the nation. Until we do that, I'm sorry, we will continue to have failed development and imperfect governance in our nation. And the states will continue to pretend. Look at the situation in Ireland. How many state governments are under any control? None. The houses of assembly are weak and even non-existent. So everybody pays attention to the National Assembly. Everybody pays attention to the president. Everybody pays attention even to the federal civil servant, as if there is no civil service in the states. So this is the problem we have.